Hello everybody, thank you so much for being here with us today and a very special International Women's Day event. The theme for International Women's Day this year is Accelerate Action, which calls for the faster progress towards gender equality. Hopefully you'll see some faces on the panel today that you recognise and meet some new faces. We hope that you find what we talk about interesting and useful and you take something away. We're going to stay really positive this evening. We're not going to focus on anything negative, and we really want to focus on giving you some really nice insights to walk away with some positivity. So I think before we start, I'll just introduce myself. My name's Michelle Timpson, and I am the CMO of Hoxton Spirits. My hospitality career started about 20 years ago, which sounds crazy to say, but it did. And I moved to London and went to Arts Ed Drama School, and I quickly found out that, well, I couldn't afford to be there. And I left and I started working in property. And then in the evenings, I started working as a waitress in a cocktail bar. And that started my journey in hospitality. I think what I found there was lots of weird and wonderful people. I could get dressed up. I could be whatever character I wanted to be, meet people in the entertainment industry. So that really lent into that artistic side of me that I was missing. Being the person that I was, I wanted to progress a little bit more. So I then moved into being a floor manager, AGM of a nightclub called Mahiki. I could name everywhere I worked, but to be honest, most of them are closed now, so there's no point. It's so sad. And then moved into marketing and then became marketing director of a group of nightclub and restaurants. When I got fed up of working till 4 a.m. and being a vampire, I then decided that I was going to work in the drink sector, which was quite an easy transition actually. So then I started doing the marketing for a energy drinks brand and now Hoxton Spirits. So given my background with hospitality and my skill set and my network, I really focus the marketing on partnerships, events, community building, and really building the lifestyle brand of Hoxton. I just love meeting people, bringing people together and creating experiences. So that's me. That's my life story, and let's get that out the way. Thank you. I'm going to introduce the panel to you guys now. Just 1 second. Sorry. Technology. I know. Right, I'm going to introduce the panel to you now. What I'm going to do is just give you an overview of everybody's career, and then as we get into the Q&A session, you'll get to know everybody's journeys a lot more. So we have Jess Bays. She is a Brit Silver certified producer with hits stacking up on the variety of labels: Defected, Warner, Universal and Sony. Jess is no stranger to playing in the UK's largest clubs, as well as countries such as Brazil, Australia and the United States. Over the last year, Jess has taken a little bit of time out of her career to focus on her mental health and well-being. This year, Jess is planning to advocate a change in some of the attitudes towards females in the industry. Yay. So next we have Aoife Cleary. She runs Another Level Dimension agency established in 2019. Another Dimension is a global entertainment and production agency with offices in London and Ibiza. Recently, Aoife's company has been moving into production aspects of the industry, with last year's headline being Halloween production for the famous Pikes in Ibiza. Siân Owen, the end there, is a London-based DJ and producer with an impressive reputation in the UK house music scene. In recent years, Siân has also been a regular on the radio with shows on Flex FM and guest mixes for Kiss FM, Apple Music and Ministry of Sound. Catch Siân on the lineups for Abode, Love Juice and Amsterdam for ADE. Twiggles. She's a club and event portrait photographer who's worked at some of the UK's largest nightclubs, Ministry of Sound, of course, Printworks, Warehouse Project, with a variety of international and national artists and DJs. Twiggles has worked with all of the panellists over the years, and in 2022 and 2023 and 2024, she also held solo exhibitions of her work. Charlotte Webb, also known as Lala, has been at the forefront of London's nightlife scene for some time now. Working for some of the capital's biggest brands and hottest venues, she has curated many extraordinary events. In 2024, Charlotte founded Lala Productions, providing a team of London's finest DJs, musicians, and talented content creators, with clients ranging from the Mandarin Oriental Mayfair, Sushi Samba, and the Ned. Okay, that's that. I can put my phone away now.
That's a nice introduction.
Thanks for the nice intro.
Yeah.
That's okay, guys. I did the work for you. Okay, so we're going to start the Q&A questions now. I am going to start with Charlotte. Tell us a little bit more about your career, how your career started, how and when you made the big switch up to what you do now.
Yeah. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so I started stockbroking from uni, which was insane and like completely male dominated. I think it was like 4 women on the trading floor of 250 men. So you can imagine that the energy was insane. And had a really good time, but quickly realised I just wasn't happy deep down and just wasn't feeling fulfilled. So went away, went travelling, and then the cliche, but it's what happened is I started to realise that who I really was and just started to slow down and kind of like find that yin energy. I did a silent meditation retreat, which was amazing. I'd highly recommend it. And I just started to realise that bringing people together and like connecting people and events, like my favourite thing to do was to plan my own birthday party, and I was like, there's got to be something in this.
Yeah.
And I loved music and like I loved going to new restaurants, new venues, like finding out what was going on in London, in the city I lived in. And so I came back and got into events, and then now I'm here running my own company. So
Wow.
yeah.
Massive change, amazing.
Yeah.
Are there any challenges or experiences from your previous career that you mirrored in what you currently do?
Yeah, definitely. So I think working in a male-dominated industry is not dissimilar to where we work now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's, you know, it's not like man versus woman, but there's different ways of working. There's a different energy, and you know, even like a woman, I feel like we should honour our cycle and work with that. And there's all of these different things I now incorporate into the way I work and how I work with other people.
Yeah.
And I learned that along the way, because where I used to work in the city, I hit burnout and got diagnosed with celiac disease, which is an autoimmune system disease. And it's 4 in 5 diagnosed people are women. And just because of that, it's made me realise that like I can't just keep running on adrenaline. And just our makeup, like our bodies, men and women, are different, so we just have to work differently. So I definitely learnt those lessons, and I bring that into how I run my company and how I manage myself and my day.
So you also work in the wellness space. So just tell us a little bit more about that and how that's important to you and how it's helped you sort of in your everyday work life.
Yeah. So, yeah, wellness has kind of changed for me. So when I used to work in the city, I used to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, run 10K uphill, like after like drinking tequila at 3 o'clock in the morning with clients, like not even joking, I don't know how I'm alive. But that is like what the vibe was. And it was like, if I'm doing a class, like I want to see results, everything was about results, like being muscly, being this, being that. Like wasn't really interested in slowing down. I wasn't interested in yin. I wasn't interested in meditation. But now, the 360 I've done is I've realised that without those things, we're just running on empty, and actually slowing down and like giving your body nutrients, like slowing your mind down, giving yourself time, means we can actually go further and with more sense and with more like kindness to ourselves. And then once we figure that out, we can then pour from a cup that's got energy in it, not pouring from an empty cup and trying to help people, but like feeling completely diminished ourselves. So I think like that wellness journey has taught me kindness to myself, which in turn has meant that I can be more kind to other people.
Yeah, totally appreciate that. So I'm going to just move on to Twiggles and just ask you a couple of questions.
Oh gosh.
So having worked in large capacity clubs in the UK, what are some of the challenges that you've faced?
It's such a boring one, but I'm just not tall enough. That's what I find. I wish I was a little bit taller. Yeah, I've got quite big shoes on tonight, but you can't really wear those in, print works back in the day. I just found that I didn't really want to be a photographer that was plonked into the middle of a huge nightclub or festival trying to get that amazing, like, wow shot of the stage. Because I just knew everywhere I go, you know, you go to a gig and there's always someone taller than you in front of you. Doesn't matter how near the front you are, someone will come stand in front of you. So I thought it's better to roll up with the DJ. So that's kind of...
Always.
Yeah. Back in the day, people used to carry their record bags, didn't they? But I just carry a camera. So I get in there and take photos of the DJs, and that's how I overcome working in those larger venues, because I do think it's quite challenging and a bit daunting to be trying to move away through a crowd of expensive camera gear.
So if you had to choose between working in small venues or large venues, what would be your preference?
Always a small venue and preferably a birthday party. Yeah.
Charlotte's birthday party.
We just love birthday parties.
Mine's in December and I hate it, but I always go for it anyway. But yeah, it's a good place to start.
No, I think birthday parties, I mean, they're just such a positive vibe. I think in nightclubs, you get such a mixture of energies.
Yeah.
And that just goes with the territory, you know. But at a birthday, there's one person in general that's the focus of it. The music's always guilty pleasure type music. You know the words, everyone's singing. And the cake is the big crescendo of the night. And then after that, everyone just lets loose. So I really, really love birthday parties.
So how do you get those small bookings or the birthday party bookings?
A lot of it's recommendation. Also by being at events and at work, people ask me, oh, do you do birthdays? Or my cousin's got a birthday coming up. So a lot of my work, I don't advertise. I used to advertise on Instagram and spend money. I spent about £1,200 once, which is quite a lot when you're starting off.
On ads?
And, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I found it just annoyed my audience, really, because they keep popping up to the same people, and it was a waste of money. So I stopped doing that, and I thought, well, let me just see if people recommend me organically, and they did. So that's where I'm at.
So how do you feel about gatekeeping then?
Yeah. So gatekeeping in the sense of people like poaching clients and things like that. I think it's a very difficult situation because I think photography is super competitive. There's always someone that's cheaper. There's also a lot of people that are better, like, you know, being real. And I think it's a case of nurturing working relationships, getting those recommendations, always being on time, not being a hot mess at work, because there's free alcohol everywhere and cake. Try not to eat too much cake. Yeah, try not to get caught eating the cake. But I think just always being on time, being punctual, being quick with the photos, because some photographers do take 10 days to 2 weeks to get images back, and we need stuff
People want them the next day, especially if it's like a brand. They need the photos.
Speed on the day. On the day sometimes.
Yeah, I'm really quick. That's it.
Okay, you move on then. Okay, Jess, I'd like to ask you how you got started in the industry. You're one of the long-established female DJs on the house music scene. What are some of the challenges you faced on your way up?
So I started as Sam Devine's tour manager from Defective Records.
Yeah.
I didn't really actually know that I wanted to become the artist. I just kind of fell into it from just being around like music at her shows and stuff. And that's the biggest bit of advice I give to anyone, especially like girls that are starting out, just to go and maybe do a job that's more like behind the scenes first, so you get a different understanding of sort of all the aspects of what goes into putting on an event, even just something as simple as like the door staff, the runners and stuff. So yeah, I started DJing for Sam, warm-up shows, and then I think when you get known as a good warm-up DJ, other headliners want to start booking you because it's a craft. I don't think you can ever really master the art of warm-up DJ. Like it's a skill. I think if you learn that, then you can play anywhere. So then they signed me to Defected, and then it kind of it snowballed from that. I never really like set out as like that was like the goal for me. I just kind of just wanted to play music. And then I started producing, and I've toured the world now pretty much. I've pretty much done everywhere that I want to do except Glasgow. That's the one. I've got to get Glasgow next. Yeah, and I just got a silver disc for like 200,000 streams of one of my songs and 150 million streams. So yay! So it's not been like all roses. Of course, there's like ups and downs of music industry. Like I had to take the summer off just to sort of like have a reset because I've been doing it for 10 years. Like it's a stint, and although people think that you travel to all these nice countries and stuff and you get to like holiday all the time, you're not. You're often in a hotel room on your own, in airports and stuff, and it is genuinely the best job in the world. I'm not sitting there moaning about that at all. It's just there's two sides to it. So I think it's nice to have taken some time out because now I definitely appreciate it a lot more now I'm back.
So as the gigs started rolling in and your career started to build and you were working more abroad, what made you decide to move into the production side of the business?
I think as a record player, you love playing other people's music and you're so excited to share new stuff, but then you kind of miss that. It was just like a little scratch that needed to be itched. Like I wanted to feel what it felt like to play something that I'd sat and done. And yeah, I work with the best team. Like, I've got the greatest co-producer that I work with called Atkins. He's amazing. We gel so well in the studio, and it's like I treat music sessions as therapy, right? So because I write vocal house, so the songwriters that I'm so lucky to work with, like the likes of like Jem Cook, I've done stuff for Becky Hill and Rudimental, and it's just. I often sit in those studios and I think I get mad imposter syndrome sometimes. I think, like, how am I in this position, you know? But it's been the best journey ever, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. So I'm grateful every day.
So when you started producing, did you find that any other female DJs were making any other producers were making the same sound as you?
Do you know what? I think the sound's always kind of evolving and changing. I think you go into sessions, right, and you have to sort of take inspiration of other sounds and stuff. Like I take a lot of my inspiration from the likes of like MK, Hannah Wants, Gorgon City, and you go in with that mindset and you kind of take little things from them and then you recreate your version of what that would sound like, if that makes sense. It's great. There's so many amazing female producers coming through now. Like it's sick. Like it's the best space to be in, and yeah, it's therapy for me. Right, music definitely.
It's amazing. Sean, another female DJ at the end there.
Woo!
So I want to ask you how long you've been DJing and what inspired you to get into it.
What's happening, everyone? Hi, happy International Women's Day. I just want to say a shout out to Jess as well because I never knew that you were Sam's tour manager. Mental.
It was so much fun.
She's unreal. I look up to Jess a lot, so it's nice to be on a panel with her. Sorry, can you ask the question again? I forgot it. I got distracted. I was saying no to
How long have you been DJing and what inspired you to get into it?
I've been DJing now for, I think, about 5 years. Think about that. And I got into it because it's a bit of a typical answer, but I've always loved music, you know, like music is my life. And my mum used to call me a little baby jukebox. She's like, I'd know all the songs from different generations and be singing along and remember lyrics to everything and been playing karaoke and stuff from a small age. So I always loved music. But I'd probably say like getting into radio, that really got me into it because I was just stuck in the studio the whole time trying to learn how to DJ, and I just wanted to pick it up like that. And it was like the one thing that I was good at. So I was like, I've got to stick at this. It's the one thing that I can stay really like concentrated on because I feel like I've tried every single thing and I've had so many different hobbies and got so distracted by stuff, but DJing was the one thing that I could just sit and actually do and like get stuck into. So I was like, I feel like this is my calling, like this is where I should be. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
So what do you love the most about it? Is it travel? Is it
probably
meeting different people?
Like what Jess said, like it isn't all roses, you know what I mean? It's difficult, but it's where I'm happiest and it's what feeds my soul, like music. This is what I want to do forever and build an amazing community and an empire around like my sound. And I've started to produce now myself, and I got my first single out last year in April under Defectors label D for Dance, so
amazing.
Which was sick. So just continuing to like perfect my sound, grow as an artist, produce, start my own label eventually and my own club night, and yeah, it's just this is where I'm happiest, you know what I mean? So that's what I love most, giving people the feeling of music. And like, you know, I feel like some people, they can listen to music and like cry and get an emotional, and like, is anyone else like that? Like you can hear a song and genuinely cry your eyes out to it. Like I don't cry.
And then play it again so you cry again.
Yeah. I'm literally like Cameron Diaz out of The Holiday. Like I don't cry. Like I sit and I'm like, I really should cry over this breakup, but I've got no tears to shed. Whereas if I listen to a tune that hits me in my emotions, I'm like a next level bawling. So it's like what is you know, it's like, I guess I've figured out my calling in life, you know.
Yeah, nice.
It sounds a selfish answer. I'm like, I don't care about what everyone else is doing. It just makes me feel really good. So yeah, probably that's what I like best about it.
So you've played for some big brands and some amazing venues. Do you ever get nervous?
I feel like this is more, I'm not going to lie, this is more scary to me because I'm like I hide behind the decks and the music. But I feel like it's normal to get a little bit nervous. I kind of enjoy that feeling of feeling like shit, like how am I going to perform? It shows you care, yeah. And I just want to say as well what Jess said earlier about being a warm-up DJ, that's so true. Like when you perfect being a warm-up DJ, you can kind of take on any crowd, and it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because you start off being a warm-up DJ, and then by the time you're headlining your own show or playing on the big bills and your name's big on the poster, you're like, yeah, I'm up now with the big dogs. You're kind of there. Yeah, you earn your stripes, but also it feels really natural because you have done that groundwork. Do you know what I mean? You've played to empty rooms. You've sat for hours trying to figure out your sound, and you've like really grafted to get there. So now, when I'm on a big show, I'm like, let's go. Like more than anything, I'm just excited.
Charlotte, so you work with big brands as well. Do you ever feel intimidated taking on those big projects?
Yeah, for sure, because you just want to make sure you get it right, and obviously owning your own business, you have to be a people pleaser to everyone. But I think it's also exciting. Like it's exciting having a new project, and it's like you get to choose where that goes, and you get to choose when you work, how you work. Like if I want to work till 3 o'clock in the morning with my cats around me, I can. Or if I want to get up at 5, I can do that. Like that's what I think is like the beauty of working for myself and then winning these big projects. And also it's like, shit, I did that. Like that's on me, that's my work.
So how do you deal with the pressure? Is that where the wellness sort of aspect comes in?
Breath work every day, literally, like that saves me.
I should have joined you earlier, actually.
I was doing breath work before this. And like meditation, yin, yoga. I still do like some of the HIIT stuff, like weights, but I just try and like calm my nervous system rather than like fuel myself with adrenaline. Yeah. Because I'm like quite a energetic person, so I try and like bring the energy down so I can be a bit more like chill and not get nervous about stuff.
More chill vibes.
Yeah.
I think we could all be helped with that, a little bit of that, yeah. Right, Aoife, come on, let's have a little chat. So from running a dance agency to working in events and entertainment space, how did you evolve your business from where you started, and what challenges have you faced?
Hi everyone, I'm Aoife. So basically I actually started out as a dancer myself.
Yeah.
Originally it was actually ballet that I started in, and then I had a little bit of an injury which took me away from that, and I guess I hadn't really thought about if ballet was the right choice for me. I just knew I loved to dance, and that was just what was available to me in Ireland at the time, like the best kind of thing that I had access to. So when I moved away from doing ballet, I actually got into a little bit of TV presenting, and I was working for a music TV presenting show, and I got to interview some really big DJs like Jamie Jones at the time, like all the big trance DJs like Lisa Lashes, Carl Cox, all of that. Met these people, and I'd always loved music, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy, like these festivals are amazing. I never want to do ballet again. Moved to Ibiza, and then started working as a dancer in all the big clubs in Ibiza. I worked at all the biggest brands. I danced a lot for Jess, that Defected, Twiggles photographed me. It was amazing, and I toured all over the world doing that. I went to LA, Dubai, Mexico, everywhere. And then I had around 2018 a little bit of a hard year, and I hit a little bit of a burnout. And I came back to London, and I just was like, I just don't know if I can work at night. And very kindly, Ministry of Sound gave me a great opportunity to come and work in the office there and kind of showcase, work actually in this venue as well, and kind of showcase my skill set, all the information I had picked up during my time working in the industry. And like Jess said, when you work in the industry, like in different roles, you pick up so many pearls of information, and I felt like I had always been backstage. And the dancers are like, people don't think about this, but they're in the middle of the event looking at the whole crowd. They listen to every DJ, they work at every event. Like I knew every event, you know. So I actually knew a lot more than I thought, and I had imposter syndrome at the beginning, but I quickly realized I actually know about this. And then I started managing all the dancers in the production there, and then I started my agency with Ministry support. They were the ones that gave me the kick to do it. I was afraid, but I did it, and suddenly all my clients as a dancer wanted to work with me as an agent, and then Charlotte became a client as well, and we worked together. And then when COVID happened and the dancing thing and the live music events kind of went downhill, we got into like the TikTok side of things, which actually one of my dancers, Ellie here, helped me with a lot. She's amazing on social media. And then after that, I realized we needed to diversify, so we started doing a little bit more event stuff as well, like production side, and it's been really cool.
So have you always been quite ambitious, or is that something just like evolved?
I think with dancing, I
just
was
adapting.
always ambitious, but not about having my own business.
Yeah.
That kind of just evolved and fell onto my lap. And it is really hard, like what Jess was saying about having imposter syndrome, but I was just lucky to have really cool people around me that knew me and trusted me and gave me that little push at the beginning.
I think it's so important. I think even just with like a panel talk, it's not all your friends messaging you saying you're going to be amazing, you're going to do it. It's so good to have a support system.
And I think that's the thing about this electronic music industry, is that like you do get a community, and everybody's doing it because they love it and everybody understands how you feel. So it's just like so lucky that we get to have that in our line of work.
So what do you love most about what you do?
I think I love being creative, and I love my team, and I love that I've been in my team's shoes before, and I feel like I can try to slowly make things a little bit different from them and evolve and listen to their ideas and feel really proud when I watch them then, because I think, oh, like we're getting there. We're getting to where they want to be, you know?
And what are some of your standout career moments?
Oh, God, that's really hard. As a dancer, probably working with Dollskill in LA, I got to be on a billboard. That was probably my number one dance moment. And maybe also dancing for Carl Cox at Privilege. That was like, I can't remember how many people, but I think it was like crazy amount of people, like 20,000 or something. I don't know. It was just mental. And then just from my agency, honestly, just watching it grow and working with big brands that I never thought would want to work with me, like multinational brands.
So I'm just going to throw this out to everybody and anyone can answer. What do you wish you'd have known before you started your career?
I know my answer. Maybe that you don't have to say yes to everything. I think often it's glamorized to be like this mad workhorse and just like keep going. And obviously, especially in something like creative, you want to say yes and do everything all the time. But there does become a point of burnout. I know some of you mentioned it. Like, it happens, and it's just the power of no is something that I wish somebody told me at the start. And sometimes saying no to certain things, like for example, certain shows and stuff. The power of no is way more powerful than you think, because it makes people want you that a little bit more. So I think that's.
So do you have any regrets? Is there anything you don't have to be? It's right. I thought it was my phone. You don't have to be specific, but like, do you have regrets because you didn't say no?
Sometimes
do you think that,
a little
helped
bit,
with the burnout?
Maybe sometimes, because I think maybe I took on a little bit more than I could chew at the time, and just like, especially around the summertime, it's peak season for DJs, music, it's insane, but sometimes like 5 or 6 shows a week, especially when you're doing all the flying and stuff, it's a lot, it is a lot, so maybe learning the power of no, I think, was something, definitely for me, but now I understand it better, and my agents and managers definitely tell me to understand it better more, so I'm getting better at it.
Anyone else? Come.
Well, like one thing we knew before is like, I'm such a meme queen. Like, I've got all the quotes in my head, but I'd say like comparison is the thief of joy, as they say. So for me, in terms of if anyone's like an artist or getting into music production, Jess, you can probably relate, is I had like A&Rs and everyone in my ear like, oh, this is the reference. And as you said about MK, like, you know, I had my references in my head, but I also wanted to create a new sound, and you've got these like noises in your head that you want to make, and unless you can physically produce that specific sound, it can be so frustrating, can't it? I have like 200 references sometimes, and I'm like, you hear that little noise there, like I want that, but I want that as a bass line, and I want this. They're like, I don't know if that'll work, and I'm like, just do it, and let's just try and make it happen. And you see what's blowing up now, and I feel like everyone wants to jump on the bandwagon. Like, it's been all Afro House and kind music, and now it's Max Dean, Luke Dean. They're obviously killing the game, but by the time you make that sound and follow that, it's gone. So just don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Think about what your sound is. You be the next trend. You be the next sound. Do you know what I mean?
I heard something the other day. Eminem said that he calls himself a racehorse because he has his blinkers on and he just looks at the finish line. And it's so my previous manager, a guy called Sonny, said that exact same thing to me. Just don't look to the side, just look at where your end goal is, and then just keep focusing on that.
Figure out you.
That's something. That's one thing I need to take in more. Like I guess everybody's probably the same in any career path, right? You always look at comparison, but just end goal, blinkers on.
End goal. And you'll become
vibes.
your own reference as well. Do you know what I mean? Now, when I go into a new session, a lot, if I'm working, because I was working with Atkins as well myself, and he's amazing. And some other producers that I work with, and they're like, oh, what's your reference? I'm like, oh, this is my reference, a tune I made last week. Like, listen to
That's
that.
Good.
Like, you become your own sound and your own reference. So I'd say, like, just try not to get too swayed or think what's hot now and what's, like, in and what's going viral. Just go viral yourself for your new stuff.
Have the courage of your own conviction.
Yes.
Right, we'll go back to you, Twiggles. Did you find it hard getting into the club industry? You mentioned in your bio that you're one of the female photographers that the most consistently works in nightlife. What advice would you give to other photographers looking to get into London clubs?
I'm not sure, really. I think go out and party, that's what I'd say.
So you just fell into it? So you didn't find it hard getting into the swing of things?
See the sunrise more.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I went out and partied for a good 5 years, just as you know, life happens to allow you sometimes, you know. And I worked in the city as well, like Charlotte, and I wasn't, you know, sometimes you can earn quite a lot of money but be unhappy.
Yeah.
And I just thought with this, so I ended up only working like 4 days a week. It was freelance anyway, so and then that went down to 3. So I just started partying more basically, and I met a lot of people and enjoyed my time, and loved music, you know. And
you as a scene, you
passion.
enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, if I could be a DJ, I would, but I have so much respect for DJs that I wouldn't even touch the decks, you know. It's a difficult job and it's very specialised. So I just... Yeah, true. It's both sides of the coin, but I really appreciate music, and I think being as near to the DJ as possible, which is basically a lot of the time by their elbow, that's where I wanted to be. So, hello.
So do you have any advice for women and photographers just looking to make their way in the industry and get into it?
I think get out there, learn, you know, meet people, but not in a kind of social climbing way. Just organically meet people. Just enjoy what's going on around you and the people that you meet and the characters. Because a lot of photography in nightclubs is showing the characters that are there. It's not always this kind of carefully curated look. Sometimes it's just people having a great time and what they're wearing, their fashion, not what's in fashion. So I think enjoy music, get out there, and then in terms of photography itself, just do a lot of research. Learn your settings, learn different lighting techniques, because you're going to come across all of it. So don't turn up somewhere and go, oh, what do I do with these lights? I don't know how to shoot it. You've got to be very, very adaptable.
Prepared. Would you say it's a competitive space then?
100%.
Yeah.
Even
between
more so
female
now.
photographers or just generally photography? It's like there's more photographers than jobs.
I think generally, and also photography's changed a lot. Like now, a lot of big brands don't care for photos in focus anymore. I mean, there's huge brands that are posting stuff like campaigns and the photos are blurred. And like, you know, me, I'm there like marking it with my red pen. But it's a fashion and it's a trend. And so what that's actually done, which is very interesting, it's opened the door to even more people because there's less precision to it now. And even people are trying to be precise with the blurred pictures. Madness. Yeah. It's like really edgy now that I've spent an hour trying to make it blurred. But
then put it through FaceApp.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's good in a way. You know, I'm a bit of a, you know, old school person, but I think, you know, if it's opening doors to people and it's giving youngsters opportunities to get out there, learn a craft, meet people, so be it.
Jess, we're going to come to you a little bit. Have you seen positive changes for women in your industry? Have you seen an increase in women in different roles, like, you know, management, artist liaison, liaison.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like, I've got a new manager and she's a woman. She's over there. Like, it's the first time I've ever had her name's Alex. It's the first time I've ever had a woman like on my team in terms of like the manager agency side of things. And there's no like good or bad side to working with a male or a female. It's just a different vibe. And I definitely appreciate having like the feminine thing on my team.
Is it still more difficult, do you think, for females to get into it?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Like at the start, before I sort of went into launching my own record label, I launched Sam's Divine Sound, Sam Divine's Divine Sound label. Yeah. Me, her, and a lady called Camilla. We launched Camilla. That. Yeah, we launched really that. Yeah, that was literally just 3 best mates that really, really loved music, and we just wanted to give a platform to other people. We ended up going on to get number 1s on Traxsource and Beatport, and then selling the record label onto Defected now that own it. So, and we did that literally out of Sam's house in Surrey, literally. Yeah. So, and now it's got like I think 50,000 followers on Instagram and stuff, and like I said, Defected own it now, and we literally just went and did that, and we were 3 girls that literally didn't know how to run a record label but made it something so beautiful and special, and
you're doing amazing.
It was such a magical 5 years of my life that I'm so eternally grateful for, and we had so much fun with it, man.
That's great. So we're just going to talk a little bit about you working really close in the mental health space. Why is it dear to your heart, and why has it been so important to you to support?
I think it's important because like everybody talks about physical health, right? But nobody actually understands that the brain, also mental health, is something that it's also invisible, right? And you can't see it. So like I've got ADHD, so I'm like quite like jittery all the time. But like ADHD, I look at as like a superpower. I'm often just super focused onto everything in the room. Like I'm listening to like 5 like them clinging noises over there right now is what my brain's focusing on. But like I think it should be something that's more spoken about, because when do you ever really sit down and have a conversation with your friends and say how are you? But like how are you? It's a difference between there's a difference between asking and then really listening. So I think and
people got to be ready for the answer as well.
Of course, man. Like life is tough. Let's have it right, man. But it's so much fun. It's a beautiful thing to be alive, and I think mental health is something that should be really spoken about and championed, especially within music, because it's a lot to process, especially when you're getting into the higher sides of it as well. Like it's a lot. It's a wild ride.
And I think everyone expects you to sort of cover it up and pretend that you're okay. Why do we always have to pretend we're okay? Can't we? Actually, I'm having a bit of a bad time.
Everybody has a bad day, man. You're a human being. You're not a robot, unfortunately. Yeah. Is there anything in particular that you've done, or any support networks of people that you've worked with that you think's really helped? I mean, I've always had great teams around me, man. Like, I think having, like, I've got a new manager now that's, like, sober, ADHD as well, the same as me. So it's really nice to have that sort of understanding. I've had loads of different teams, and that no one's been worse or good than the other. Like, I'm grateful for everybody. But just having somebody now that I think understands, like, that part of my brain as well is just really... It's just reassuring, it makes me feel like a little bit like, I think everybody's got a little bit of ADHD these days, it was very misdiagnosed when we were younger. But I'm happy, man. So just in terms of just people like getting through everyday life and their careers, has anyone got any words or mantras that they tell themselves before a big gig? Obviously you said you do breath work. Does anyone else sort of get themselves in the zone? Oh, again, sorry guys, I'll leave it down there. Go on, girl. Just how do you get through? What does it, when you're nervous or struggling, how do you get through?
More about my team, I would answer that question. So, like, when I started getting the agency to really pick up in Ibiza and it became much bigger, we have a lot of clients now. We work every single day. The girls don't get a day off, and it's really important to me that I have a consistent team. We're like a family. We've grown up together. Some of them danced with me when I was a dancer, and I really respect them, and some of them I've found along the way, and whatever it may be, but I know how hard it can be, and they have to always look perfect and smile, and people don't think about them. They're kind of the forgotten staff in a way, like, because they just get up on the stage and they look great and then they go to the dressing room, so people don't see how tired they are and stuff. So for me, it's just been more about like them and trying to create more of a sober atmosphere at work. So we do Ibiza Rocks, for example, which is daytime party, and we do that. Jess is one of our DJs, and so is Sharon as well. And yeah, we do that. That's 7 days a week. So I've made that. When I first started doing it, I was just a dancer there. So it was me and one other girl. We just danced there, and it was a small team. And we used to be dancing until 6 o'clock in the morning the night before, and we'd come in and there'd be beers in our fridge, and we'd be so tired. So sometimes we're like, get that beer, or let's go and get a shot of tequila. 2 p.m. Whereas I've gotten rid of that now. So there's no beers in the fridge in the dressing room anymore. If someone asks for one, I'm not like going to be like no, but they're not in there, and they get food instead now, so they get lunch, and it's just very chilled environment. And it's gotten to the point now, after 6 years I think of managing a Beat the Rocks, that nobody even asks me for a drink anymore. I don't remember the last time someone really asked me for a drinks ticket. Maybe if they have a friend coming.
Yeah, it must
and,
do.
and I feel like I've made that environment in there safer and calmer, and the girls all want to work there now, and even
just
when
a bit
they're
more present,
and they're
there.
cutting back their night times, and I'm like, right, let's find us more daytimes, and when we do find us night times, let's make them special, and let's not make it like we're working 6 nights a week drinking every night, because this is their career, and they're there because they're good dancers, and they can lose their way. And I don't want to be the person that helped them lose their way. I want to be the person that helped them flourish their dancing career. And then some of them are now more branching into other things, like teaching classes or doing modelling, or like doing their social media, because they're able to. And I want to support that side of their career, not just their nightlife side. So I think for me, it's more that answer.
Yeah. Amazing. So how important to you all is women supporting women and having that community?
Really, really important. I think in general, humans supporting humans is the foundations of everything. But definitely, like, all of us got together and done this, and it's like feels great. It feels good that we've all come together and we're doing this, and we're celebrating all of us and our careers and what we've been through. And yeah, I think when I've had other women around me that have supported me, it makes you feel like good about yourself. It makes you feel good about what we can produce together. And yeah, it's a good vibe. Yeah, exactly. So and I think as well, like, you can light someone else's candle and yours still shines bright. Like, there's enough for everyone. Yeah, like, we don't have
no need to be competitive. Yeah, that's right.
We don't have to gatekeep. Like, we can share and we can help each other.
Yeah, do you want me to say something on that? I don't know, I feel like there's probably naturally a little bit of competition in everything we do, and women getting put against other women, and as I say, comparisons to FIFA Joy, I think naturally, unfortunately, is a thing, but I think as what Jess said, like, there's room for everyone at the top, and what Shah said, and I think, there's room for everyone, do you know what I mean? And collaboratively as well. I think I was talking to my managers in the crowd, but I was talking to my A&R about it, and he was saying that, like, there's never a female producer and a female writer and a female DJ and a female feature. And I was like, I'm going to try and change that. Like,
I've got a record coming with 2 women singing on it.
Really?
Amazing.
Sick.
Me, the female producer, and then Kelly Lee and Jem Cook duet. Kelly
Unbelievable.
Lee and Jem Cook duetting on it. So
What
it's
a collab.
like 3-woman team up. I'm so excited.
Banging.
We should have got it out for International Women's Day.
Yeah.
We missed the bloody trick there, I think.
No, that's unreal. My next single that's coming out under D4 is with one of my best friends, Taya. She was quite a big, like, R&B artist back in the day, and she took a bit of a break because she was struggling with, like, a lot of competition, and, like, growing up she got signed really, really young, and I met her in Marbella a few years ago, and I was like, come on, you're coming back in the studio, and now she's featuring on my next song. So having that and collaborating as women and lifting women up and everyone up is so important. Like, we're stronger together. Definitely.
This one's actually back to you, Sean. If you've ever had any negative feedback, how have you dealt with it?
Feedback's important, of course, and I listen sometimes. I take it with a pinch of salt, as my mum always says to me. But I think, again, I don't know, I guess I'll always listen to feedback, like, especially from my manager. I listen to my manager's feedback because I know she knows 100% what's best for me, and I know she's got my back. But I do think, know what your journey is, and be your biggest critique to yourself, and feedback on yourself, be real with yourself, but try not to get too bummed down about criticism, because obviously you know what social media can be like, and if people are critiquing you and, I don't like that, and I don't like this logo that you've just done, I'm not sure on that playlist, I don't know about that, and if you listen to too much, you end up losing yourself. So feedback's important, but little amounts of it. You know what's best for you. Confidently.
Well, I think we're nearly done, guys. We got through that.
Amazing.
So, I mean, we want to quickly ask you all what your plans are for the future. So, what's your plans next couple of months? Short-term, long-term goals. You can be concise if you want.
More of these panels, I think. That's my plan.
Yeah.
More forums for friends, colleagues to get together and to share their knowledge and to inspire other people and to talk things through as well, because also it's not just us sitting here. There's a whole load of people that can all talk to each other, meet each other, mingle, and hopefully maybe something else will flourish from that as well. So it's just an ongoing vibe.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
I think for me, even just like running a drinks ban, it's so easy to sort of sponsor events that are parties and just people coming in a room and just drinking for free and then throwing themselves around. But doing events like this, where people can actually sit down, share insights, and actually have conversations and network properly, it's definitely more beneficial.
Yeah, I agree. I think the same thing. So I've actually been working for Ministry of Sound as well at the moment as like an events consultant, doing events like this as well as doing the performer stuff. Yeah, and it's really nice to just do things that are slightly different. I think like bringing people together, like you said, and stuff like that. It's really
like
cool.
Smaller curated events where
I'm
people
really
all like-minded.
That. So I really want to try and do more of that, and just like. It's just a great way to bring people together. More things always come from it, you know?
Mine, I'm going off to Australia to tour Australia and then back to the States. So that's the next thing for me, I think. The UK I've done for 10 years now. I want to go conquer the other sides of the world.
Whereabouts? Is there anywhere you're focusing on in the States?
I love New York. I did a tour last year and it was just, I did 8 states and it was just like proper pinch me moments just to be playing in some of those places. And just getting to travel as well is so special because I go with my partner and we have the best time ever. And I'm supporting MK, who's like my dream icon we're doing in Australia together, and I was just grateful, and I'm doing Tomorrowland this year as well, which when it came in I was in tears, because it's like one of the biggest festivals. So grateful every single day. I think more gratitude is something that I want to focus on this year.
That's lovely.
It's amazing. Thank you. I think more connections, so like working with more clients, working with more DJs, performers, musicians, and just like expanding what Lala Productions is all about. I also want to do a sober party, but I want to make it like high end and like different, and there's not many, I don't think there's any sober like parties that are female owned, so I really want to start looking into doing something like that at some point this year. So,
Unbelievable. What have I got going on the next few months? Busy. So I thought I was going to have a quiet winter, but I feel like I've been non-stop. It doesn't stop, does it? We done Dubai F1 in December, which was really cool, and I'm doing Tomorrowland's winter next week or the week after, something like that.
Is it still winter? Is it not spring yet?
Yeah, not yet. The sun was out though this week and I was loving it. But yeah, I'm back to Ibiza for my residency out there with D for Dance, so I'm looking forward to that. A few exciting festivals, but also building up my first brand, which is going to be called Rider Sounds. That's an exclusive. I haven't even dropped it yet. It's dropping like tomorrow or the next day. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you. It's like, so that will start as like a club night and then eventually move it on to my own label and grow that brand. And I'm really excited for that because I knew that day would come when you start DJing, and it's like whether the time's right. So it's like, I'm really excited for that this year as well. So thank you. Are we getting there?
Because of you, me. Me. Well, I think just because, as I said, the main part of my job and what I love about my current role is that I can do partnerships and events and meet people and build a community. And I just want to do that for more brands than just the one that I work for. I just get, just having worked for 15 years in hospitality, I just know so many people, and people ask me to sponsor this and to work on this, and I can't do it currently because I work for Hoxton Spirits. So just putting together an agency where I can, just be a bit more creative on the side and work with more people and more other brands. So, you got to. All right, so I think that's it from Ban. You've all been amazing. I am going to just open it up to the floor, and if anyone's got any questions, we've got some time, actually. If there's anyone's got any questions for anyone on the panel, let us know. Hello.
industry that you're in that you've looked up to and inspired you, and why?
There's a woman called Fran Cutler who's just about it. I don't know if you know. She runs she's her own PR, marketing agency. She's just everything. She's just the connector, the woman in the know. She's knows everyone, is at all the parties, and now sort of even the big brands will go to her individually to put together something, an event or a guest list, or make sure that it's the place to be, whatever it is. She's got at least one child, I know, and she's just still out there working, looking fabulous, and just being a boss. And I think she's brilliant. Go. Yes.
So, how do you make sure you don't look down on them? How do you what priorities?
I'll just quickly say, I think it's when you're at your lowest moment and when you've felt like another woman's looked down on you, or you felt that you weren't good enough, and just remembering that. So why would you want to do that to somebody else? And if you can help someone further themselves or their career, you should do that. Well, why do you want to be above anybody else? So I think it's just that, just remembering when things weren't maybe going as great for you.
I think it's also comes with experience. It's about confidence in what you have, because there's been times in my life where I felt that because maybe I wasn't as confident, and that was a big learning thing about starting my own company. You've got to just not focus on what everybody else is doing, and even if there can be sometimes pangs of jealousy or pangs of, oh, why am I doing that, why didn't they ask me, just like Charlotte said earlier, there's enough for everyone. And I've learned definitely in the last, I'd say 2 years especially, collaboration is key. Don't worry about what other people are doing, because you're wasting your energy. If you put the same energy as pitting yourself against another woman into your business, you'll get similar things to what they're getting, and you should just be happy for them. And I think that was a huge thing for me, and I felt like since I've started doing that, definitely a big weight has been lifted off my shoulders, and better things have come to me, and I'm so conscious of it. And it doesn't mean that sometimes you don't see something popping up on social media and go, oh, why wasn't I asked to do that? It's natural as a human, but it's just recognizing it straight away and going, no, I'm happy for them. That's great. I get lots of good things too, and more things are going to come.
It's 100% confidence.
Yeah, definitely confidence.
There's work out, there's space. There's space for everyone. Even as I said, me thinking about starting my own agency, I'm like, oh God, there's so many other agencies, and everyone's so much more well connected, and they've done other stuff. And I'm like, but there's events. 50 events in London every night, 100, I don't know, there's space for everybody. So just not let that get in your head, and just be like, right, well, I know what I'm good at, I know what I do, and just go for it.
Actually, one of my friends here is getting into events as well, and she wanted to come to this to see what it's like. And I said, well, yeah, just go for it. If you're not on panels and you want to be on a panel, create a panel. Create your own event. Create your own lane, You don't have to wait for something to happen or to land on your lap or to be asked. It's just get on with it. Draw on your resources, get to know people, see if everyone's on the same page and keen to do something, and do it. And that can be in any realm. But I think it's really important just to, take control of your own future and not necessarily wait for these invitations.
That reminds me of something quick, yeah. I was watching, I love podcasts and stuff. I don't know if anyone likes Joe Rogan and Chris Williamson and Stephen Bartlett. I love all of that. And Chris Williamson said on one the other day, if you're talking about doing the thing, you're not doing the thing. If you're thinking about doing the thing, you're still not doing the thing. Just do it and stop overthinking, just do it. And I sit on content. I went into Pioneer Studios a few weeks ago and I filmed a mix and visuals for my socials and stuff. And I just absolutely picked myself apart, and I was like, I hate it. And my manager was like, you're not posting it. Let's make a new one then, let's do it. And I went in yesterday and smashed it. And now I love the new content. And I just think sometimes you can just pick yourself apart so much, edits and music that you sit on, and you just have to not overthink and just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You can archive it, you can get rid of it, but just post and
overthink it.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just not doing anything anyway, It's a good bit of advice I got from Chris on the podcast.
When we had COVID and there was no live events, and I was thinking about, I was thinking about how we could keep working and keep some of the teams still working and stuff like that. And I was looking at all these TikTok dancers and I was like, we could do that. So we weren't doing it basically, but I just started telling everyone we were because I had the idea. So I was like, we're doing TikTok now. We're doing all these TikTok dances now. It's going to be great. And yeah, we're just doing it. And then I just messaged all the dancers and we're like, we're doing this now. And everyone was like, okay. And I had no clients and no jobs, but I was like, we're going to do it because I can't think of anything else to do. And this stuff came once I said we were doing it. And I got one or two of the dancers had made some TikTok videos. So I put them in a folder and was like, see? And with the first one we got was for Joel Corey. So it was amazing. Joel was like, okay, yeah, because we worked on his live shows. So like people knew us. So we had the in. So I think sometimes that's the confidence thing again. Just like, okay, obviously you can't just be like, I'm a DJ now because you don't have the skill set. Like, Jess, can I warm up for you? Like, no. But if it's within your remit and it's, yeah. Exactly. And if you've already got the skill set and it's within your remit, like be confident, say, I'm doing this now. And if no one's going to know you're doing it if you don't start somewhere, you know? Yeah.
You're worried about AI stealing your jobs?
No. Are you? Oh, I'm terrified of it, man. And technology, like AI now, you can kind of ask it to write you a record, which I'm kind of a little bit like, that is not writing music. AI scares me.
It's like when the writers get up ChatGPT.
It's
like
terrifying,
that
mate.
happened to me the other day in a
It's
session.
terrifying.
I can't think of the words, so I'm like, you've got to use your brain now.
100%, man. Technology's great, right? Like TikTok and stuff have changed the game, especially in music now. It's not, you often go into sessions and it's like, they want you to write me. Like Adele said something like, I don't write records for TikTok, I write records for heartbroken 30-year-old divorced women. And I'm like, yes, that's why we do this. We don't do it for TikTok, you know, but it's now unfortunately really essential to have all this technology stuff, you know, but it's a minefield, isn't it? It's another profession on side of your job that you're doing at the minute. I think in every single sort of creative job role.
Yeah, hi. So I work in nighttime policy, right, which has a lot to do with putting the infrastructure in place to enable beautiful, like amazing women like yourself. And you all have amazing careers, have gone amazing paths. But thinking about, you know, how we help the people that are starting now, or what would have helped you when you were starting. I don't know, is it more mental health support, or is it, you know, grants, or is it more skills, or is it more confidence building? Like, what do you think is the thing that we can do from a policy point of view?
I think it's just to give people a shot, you know, like just take a punt on somebody that's new. Like that's why I started my record label. I took the inspiration from obviously starting Divine Sounds with Sam and Camilla, to give the platform to that, because often now it's like, especially with going to the majors and stuff, they only kind of really like invest in people that have already got the big numbers on socials and stuff, or already got great records. But those artists were often resident DJs before in their local cities, you know. So Carl Cox, for example, was just a warm-up DJ, and now look at him, he's one of the biggest DJs in the world, you know. So I think it's giving people a chance. I think that's really important, especially women to women as well. I think that's very, very important, because it doesn't happen in everyday life, you know, and it's way more fun helping somebody. Like I mentor this girl Chloe as well at the minute, and she was just a raver. She just was like all of my shows as well. Like now she's like one of my closest friends, and now she's a DJ and she's learning production, and it's just like, it's great. It's just so much fun. It's honestly the best job in the world, like supporting other people as well. It's way more fun.
When it comes to the policies as well, for me, this is probably more specific just to like performers and dancers, but I think that a lot of the performers that you see working in central London clubs or nightlife or events, they probably can't actually afford to live in central London, and they're finishing work really, really late at night. So a huge concern for me all the time is how they're going to get home, which is obviously very specific to my particular part of the industry, but definitely gets overlooked. And there's certain clubs pre-COVID Ministry used to give me a black cab taxi account to send the girls home. No other club in London has ever given me anything like that. No shade to them at all, it's just not the done thing, and it's not something anybody thinks about. They're the only one. Yeah, post-COVID nowhere is doing it now. Anyone that isn't, but some people are more lenient than others. Like if I say to certain venues that this girl lives really far away, she's got to go back to Croydon, we need to pay for her taxi if you want her to work. But what happens is sometimes then that discourages particular venues from taking on particular girls because they're like, well, she's more expensive. So then it's like, do I say anything? And I think if there was some kind of policy across the board for nightlife workers, it would mean that the girls or the people or whoever they may be that live further away don't get discriminated against or are not afraid to ask because they think, oh, if I ask, maybe they won't book me because I'm going to be like 50 quid more expensive than everyone else, and it puts them in dangerous situations. And it's definitely a forgotten thing because a lot of people who work in nightlife can afford to get taxis because maybe they're DJs or they're GMs or whatever, and it's just the people like hostesses and stuff that nobody really thinks of and that are afraid to say anything because there's a power imbalance with them because they're afraid they won't get asked to work. So for me, that's like probably my biggest issue in my business in London. It's not such a big issue in Ibiza. In Ibiza, like sometimes there's drivers that take everyone home or girls drive themselves and they can share taxis and stuff. But in London, that's like the biggest number one issue for us, definitely.
I know you had a question, you had a hand up before.
It's a very obviously male-dominated industry, electronic dance music, and especially, seeing a lot of the time male-dominated lineups. It's still a big thing in London, which is a little bit
Boys Club, it's called the Boys Club.
Yeah, in my opinion. So, I don't know, do you have any kind of advice or, what do you think about that, the male domination, first of all, and then do you have any advice for people like myself who obviously, are passionate, they have their sound, which is not like the mainstream sound that maybe, London is kind of known for, but like, what would be your advice, or maybe, what did you do before you were established artists and, the managers and stuff like that?
There's a record label new that's called Lady of the House, and the likes of like Becky Hill are involved in it on the A&R panel as well. And it is literally a whole label that is to give new females a chance. So that might be an avenue to look at for you. They don't go for like your big hitters, They look at discovering new females, and it's such a difficult question to answer because it's such a competitive industry now, unfortunately. Like not me being more like me saying I want to do better than somebody else. It's just the nature of the game. Everybody compares everybody. A duo would be amazing stuff. Like I love collaborating. Honestly, it's way more fun working with your mates. It's like what you go and get paid to do something that I would just do anyway. It's fun, right? I think there's definitely a boys' club element of it. You often look at other lineups and you see like boys just booking their mates and stuff as opposed to giving it like a girl a chance. And Jaguar from Radio 1 is now like really pushing that there should be something put in contracts, especially of like male headliners, that they should on their booking form say, oh, I need somebody of like LGBTQ or different diversities, ethnics. Like I need that on lineup if you want to book me. And I think little changes like that would definitely like change the game essentially. But send me I'll give you my email after and send me some music and stuff. If I can help you direct it places, I'd love to.
Yeah, I was going to say actually, just getting in contact on Instagram or like direct messaging and then just coming to events and like asking like who's the programmer, who's the event manager, who's the booker, and just like introducing yourself, because honestly I book loads of new DJs and I'm always looking for new DJs, and if they come and actually support one of my events, even if it's like for 10 minutes and having a water, like you don't have to be there all night and be drinking at the bar, but like just showing your face and then getting to know somebody, it's just then you're going to stick in someone's mind rather than just like Instagram first to like figure out if the person's going to be there and then try and go along. I would say that's a really good way of just getting in front of people.
Before she's like the first lady on Defected, she literally just went to every single Defected show every Tuesday in Pasha, and it got to the point where Simon Dunmore went up to her and just said, who are you? Like, you're at the front of every show. Like, okay. And then they ended up letting her do events there, and now she's obviously touring the world with them. So I think, like you said, just turn up. It's easy to just send a mix out, or what some people don't do right, they put CC on the email and send out the chain to everybody. But like, just go and be present and support that. If you've got a certain sort of like 3 or 4 parties that you want to go and play for, just go and show up, go and introduce yourself, say hi, like just be really authentic about it. Don't come on like a little bit too strong, or like, it's just just do what feels natural to you, and showing up for sure, and showing genuine support is definitely something that I know I look at when I want to book artists for my label and my parties and stuff.
Okay, I think we've got time for a couple more questions. I know you girls had your hands up at the back. Go on.
Hello. Obviously the female... I'm going to stand up. Yeah, the female DJ industry is so glamorised, and from one side of the desk you're looking at it and you're like, this is amazing, I want to be part of it, but what would you say the most challenging thing about being a female DJ is that we don't see on the kind of non-glamorous side of things?
I got something the other day, right?
Go on, Jess.
I had something come in my inbox, right? And it was to be booked for something by this guy at a club. And he said, what was your requirements, right, for my set? So we have a tech rider and a hospitality rider. And I told him my tech rider, like, I need this sort of setup, this equipment. And his response back to me was, okay, so do you need somebody to come and play that for you? As in, do the decks for me? And I just stood there and I was in shock, mate. I was like, I don't think this is the right show for me. I think you've got this a little bit wrong. But like just little things like that, it's just like, it's mind blowing, isn't it? Like what? Just because I'm a...
didn't want you to, like, what do you mean?
He genuinely thought that I had to bring somebody with me to play for me. Wow. And I just kind of stood there and let it all happen and just sort of maybe just like dance a little bit, you know. Like,
you got some guy behind the decks like hiding like that and doing it all for you.
It's just one of my mates winding me up and sending me this gig. Like it was mind blowing. And just often you get a lot of comments as well, like on your appearance. Like, she's too big, she's too small, she's like blah, blah, blah. It's just, men don't get that. Like, you never see that on male-dominated things, but women, it's always appearance, what you're wearing, and it makes you very, very self-conscious, and it takes away from the fact of what you're doing.
Takes it away from the music.
Social media, man.
Yeah, you do, obviously you get judged on what you look like, but I don't know, I feel like a hard part of it, and being a female is probably, I guess what Jess said, the competition, being underestimated. But there's a little bit of power in that as well. Like, let the men think we're silly. Do you know what I mean? Because we're sick. And I think, maybe that, like, competition and having to look good, trying to not let it take away from the music as well. Yeah, as Jess says, probably. Yeah. But it's all good. Can't grumble too much. Yeah.
Is there anyone else? Anyone else got any questions?
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Happy International Women's Day. Happy Easter.
Well done, girls. So stick around. Sean and Jess are going to play. And we'll all be around for a little chat and a few more drinks. So looking forward to getting to know some of you. Thank you so much for listening and being here with us.
Thank you.